Hello and welcome everyone. This is Beyond Business Live series. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a pre-event for our International Investors Forum that is happening right this week, Sunday, February the 23rd in Raffles Town Club, Singapore. It's a one-day event. And here in the Business Beyond Business Live series, we are putting together all, or in fact, most, cannot be all because there's so many of them, most of our partners and who are showing up at the event, our panel of speakers, as well as some of the business partners that is working closely with us and investors for sure and the communities. So thank you once again for joining us. With me, I have Victoria.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. And this is our preparation for our unique event because our main goal to matching people, partners, projects, and we can help to achieve their goals. And we share a lot of information, a lot of knowledges, a lot of experiences from our guests, from our partners, from our experts. And today we discuss a very interesting and important and influential topic. We talk about halal industry. This is a very popular, this is a huge area. And today we meet with specialist with a unique expertise, unique experience, and we ask the most important questions. And I hope he share with us his expertise
And wisdom, let's always you say. Let's welcome Dr. Haji. Sorry, I'm going to say that again. Dr. Haji Zuraimi Jumaat. Thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us.
Good
Uh,
evening. Thank you for your time today.
Certainly. Thank you very much, Dr. Azeeza, as well as Victoria, and to my Muslim colleagues. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And to all the viewers, streaming live, good evening from Singapore.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Today's conversation is going to be on this conversation with you. It's going to be on global halal economy and strategic supply chains, unlocking growth across borders. So this conversation is very crucial. As one of our previous show we had, we were talking about the growing trends in the halal industry. So this is where we are so excited to have you as one of our panel to look into this dynamics. And so we do have some questions for you even before we meet up live and have more conversations. So are you ready?
Certainly, inshallah, bismillah. And first and foremost, to Dr. Azeeza as well as Victoria, thanks for having me. And I think this is part of Fardu Kifaya on my end. And certainly the concept of halal within the Rahmatan lil Alamin. And you are right. I think the booming halal industry is growing each day. And especially after the post-COVID, the food security is increasingly very critical. And of course, with the geopolitical situation right now happening around the world, this is indeed a matter of survival, and I think it's very, very important to equate halal food security as important agenda within any part of the governance within any country. For again, I mentioned it's a rahmatan lil alamin for the community, to be given for the community as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes, and I have to mention that in your experience as the chairman of Everdeen Global, you're also the president of Cheon-In Poultry Breeding Korea and a leader in the Saudi Arabia Business Council. And I know that you're working very closely with the South Asia as a whole and Middle East. So we're going to really have some insightful conversations with you on the various areas you have covered. So what we want to know, how do you see the industry, halal industry evolving globally, and the challenges, or before we talk about challenges, the opportunities that's available right now. Maybe you can tell us about that.
Well, thank you for that question, Dr. Azeeza. Given the background, years of building an ecosystem, for halal, But of course, I started the journey within the halal industry as a policy maker within the institution of the religious body, as well as a certifier, then move as a consultant, working on the various footprints covering the whole entire part of the industry. So what came across myself, I think when we equate halal, it is beyond religion. It is beyond religion. But I think again, I would like to put forth. This is rahmatan lil alamin, is talking about generally the whole of mankind, right? So the halal industry at the current moment within the global industry, I would like to put forth three main important verticals that are growing very rampantly. One is the halal food security, right? And in terms of the importance of doing the business, you need people, right? And the industry itself must grow by attracting people, to equate within the circumference of that halal food security. So that's where halal tourism becoming more important. And certainly, day by day, halal today is already becoming a lifestyle, right? So if you equate a food security, tourism, and a lifestyle, these three main component is something that if you allow me to quote my very favorite dinar standard when we always talk regarding about the global Islamic index. So in the report itself in 2024, when it equates, the Muslim worldwide in terms of the spending, globally, it is reported in 2021, US dollar, a 2 trillion. Just imagine, and that basically is the spending by the Muslim global community on food, pharmaceutical, cosmetic. We talk about the modest fashion today, the travel, as well as the media. So halal today, as I mentioned, is beyond religion. It already becoming a kind of the lifestyle. It gets into the various part of the vertical. Now, if we look closely in terms of that part of the report, the spending, in my opinion, reflect about 8.9%, and that is actually year-on-year growth. And what we'll see or reported by the dinar standard by 2025, that is this year, it will grow to about 2.8 US dollar trillion. So it's expected to be growing, even after 2025. Now, if I am able to zoom in terms of why, Everdeen Global Private Limited that I'm championing move into the halal food security, basically for the halal food sector itself, grows to about 1.4 trillion US dollar at the growing rate of a 6.1% based on the previous report from the dinar standard. So we'll see that this growing importance of the food security becoming more relevant, more vital. It brings a lot of the great opportunity for whoever that wish to enter into this halal market. But of course, today we talk regarding about this halal ecosystem. It is something that equate from the holistic, comprehensive supply chain. It talks about from the upstream of the value chain right to the downstream of the supply chain. So whoever enters from within, we can safely say that you have those opportunity within the whole entire sectors of this particular value chain. Now, in my context, what I would like to bring forth on the 23rd February at the Raffles Town Club, pertaining to this. Now, we talk regarding about the Muslim worldwide in terms of their spending that is equivalent to about US dollar 2 trillion, right? But halal is again, rahmatan lil alamin, is actually meant for everybody, right? So what about in terms of the spending of the non-Muslim who subscribe to the halal food? It's becoming a new phenomenon today. If you look in terms of what is happening in China, halal food is equate as a food safe. People trust. People trust the halal component because it is food safe. People trust the halal food because it's sustainable, right? And in the part of what we learn regarding about the whole definition of halal, it is actually halal, tayyib, mubarakan. The second important aspect of a tayyib is actually it's about food safety. The food that we consume will have to be safe, right? And when we talk about the mubarakan today, we talk about SDG, we talk about the sustainable, we talk about the climate change. This is already embedded within our Islamic principle, and the whole entire part of this actual the linguistic of the halal ecosystem is actually halalan thayyiban mubarakan. If I give another example, while we work within the footprint, Japan, we talk about Japan. What we understand about Japan, Japan has the highest TOEIC because they are known in terms of their food safety standard. Very clean, very hygienic. That's component of halal. If we talk regarding about Japan in the aspect of their sustainable environment in terms of their contribution, that is also part of halal. But today, Japan is becoming to realize that halal is a very important aspect of their GDP. So more and more of the companies from Japan are today entering into the halal market. Likewise, in China, right? You won't preach that, or if Azeeza, I think I spent in the last 6 months going to Beijing and a few other part of cities in China. I don't even see any halal. You can never be able to see, hey, where's this halal? You won't be able to see any of those kind of signs, right? But what we understand from the local community in China, actually there are food for the Muslim, and that is Qingchen. Yeah,
Yes, that's
Qingchen.
right. I was
Right,
going to
correct,
tell you
Aziza?
that. Yes,
Qingchen.
yes.
So when it's always that I'm telling my community within the part of the halal industry. First, when we want to actually work on the halal industry, understand the different culture, respect the culture that we are going to be deal, right?
Yeah.
And thirdly, only we apply halal based on the rahmatan lil alamin. Only
Yeah.
then, we'll be able to actually bring a very good environment and creating the part of opportunities for everyone.
Yes, and I just wanted to, sorry, there was a call coming in. So there
No, no
was
problem, Aziza.
this
Yeah.
this topic on Qingzhen, which is really interesting, and it's so important that you, like what you say, we create the values of halal into the system. And just because it's an Arabic word and it's related to a specific religion, we cannot just take it away, because it's now accepted as a way of life for cleanliness. So Qingzhen, as we mentioned before,
Yes.
Qing means clean, Zhen means
Yes.
real. So
Yes.
it's really, the Chinese people have been adopting it. And yeah, you don't see halal signs anywhere, but these two words is the halal sign, Qingzhen. So that's a powerful example of how the global acceptance has come into for this way of life. Yeah, go
And
ahead.
and, and 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 it's not only that, Aziza. You pointed a very key. So I hope by sharing, this will open doors, for certain mindsets that are very, just look halal because that's religion. But in China, everybody, works pretty well,
Enjoy.
and everybody respect with a great tolerance. It's a very first hand, and we understand that. As a Muslim, that we travel over there. This is Qingchen, we accept that because we understand the culture and we eat because we know this is halal. You get what I mean, Aziza? Now, because I'm Singaporean, I would like to actually give an example of how, under the multicultural society we are, being a country that is very small, but how we actually work within the whole entire industry and bringing halal into a very unique selling proposition, the USP. I give you for one, Aziza. If we go to any part of the hawker centers today, or even any part of the food establishment, so what would be one very glaring example in terms of the public education is the returning tray. You eat, on the table. After that, you will have to carry the plate or the utensils, and you put it back, nicely into the written tray, right? And that written tray will indicate this is for halal, and the other one is actually for the non-halal. So you see how beautiful, the cosmopolitan society of a Singaporean are being educated, in harnessing the kind of a social cohesion, and that eventually brings about a good, learning points for the international visitors who actually come into Singapore to look at how vibrant Singapore as the whole entire economy. And this is particularly very, very important. But from the analogy of doing business, I'm doing business, no, Azeeza, right? So I love to do regarding about the intellectual property, look, science behind halal, the forensic science behind halal. I love to look, beyond in terms of even the 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 aspect of what's behind that halal. Look, the wastage of food, right? If what's been taught in Singapore, because you have the written tray for halal, and you may eventually have a dustbin that is dedicated for halal waste, right? And likewise for the non-halal. Now, the waste food could be actually turned by the process of technology to turn and transform into fertilizer. So if the waste is actually from the halal waste, there is no issue of recycling that part of the waste and to be used by the global halal industry. So that's actually is one of the elements that we talk regarding about the climate change. We talk regarding about the SDG. So there are many examples. Today is just whether are we going to be very prudent in looking for all these opportunity. Back to you, Azeeza.
Thank you. Thank you. This is a really amazing information. I think uh, um, almost in every country, halal, this isn't something for trust, because
Mm.
even you not Muslim, you trust because this is a halal, because this is about food safety. This is really interesting. Thank you, Dr. Zuraimi. But of course, if we talk about opportunities, if we talk about some benefits, we should think about barriers, or we should talk about maybe some challenges. And best your unique experience. How you think? What are the biggest barriers in halal supply chains, and how can businesses overcome them?
Thanks, Victoria. That's a very, very important question, and I hope that something I can also explore during the 23rd of February at the Raffles Town Club. In front of the audience. Let me bring us back in terms of before the challenges. So we talk regarding about the opportunities. What constitute of that opportunities in going into halal is mainly the international market access. If you have a product that's already been halal certified, whoever that champion in overcoming or champion in organizing all these various international market access, certainly that organization will be able to prosper, because today is all about the international connectivity, bringing the food security into any parts of a country's for food consumption. Now, when we talk about this halal supply chain and the biggest barriers, I would love to actually put the cornerstone, because I myself from Everdeen Global Private Limited, we do a cross-border, of the halal supply chain. So the first part of the vertical that champion on the halal food security, we also develop the technology for halal. And likewise, quite recently, we are also going into the part of a digital engineering technology consortium, partnering
Mm.
with technology partners from China and few part of the countries, and wherever we go in terms of developing the unique proposition of our halal food security and even the technology, we will bring the whole entire ecosystem wherever are needed. So in what I'm seeing today, the biggest barrier, there are probably about three, Victoria. Number one, because of the complexity of after the post-COVID, right? And regulatories are becoming more challenging for many. So I would define that a complex halal supply chain now are too many layered, right? And that eventually impact on the reliability of halal products. For instance, I'll give you an example. Many people look Indonesia as the biggest Muslim population, right? But the moment that you want to tap into the Indonesian market, it is always in the psyche of many of the manufacturer, hey, I better go into halal. But the moment you go into halal, and because of the regulatory functions
Did
in
I lose him?
Indonesia,
Did we lose him?
hello,
Victoria, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
yeah,
I think we lost him. Let him come back. No problem. Yeah.
are you
Mhm.
there? Are you there?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Yes. We lost you
yeah.
for a bit.
I
No
So
can
problem.
hear
okay.
you clearly. Yes.
So what I'm saying that for halal products, it is a mandatory requirement to enter into Indonesia. The moment that you said that's halal, then you will have to be scrutinized under the
Mm.
part of the pre-requirement of the Indonesian. So uh, this basically give a lot of the challenges because of course the mandatory law of the Indonesia is just about to start, but obviously there's a lot of complexity in terms of the know-how in attaining such kind of certification in order to be able to get into the Indonesia trade. That's number one. Now, the second part of the challenges, Victoria, when we talk regarding about the biggest barrier in the halal supply chain, of course, the regulatory challenges, as I mentioned much earlier. Now, today it become more diverse regulatory environment across different countries, and protectionism on food security or even any part of the products now becoming, if you look what's happening between the US, Canada, and few others, anything, such kind of interference of the policy coming from the specific countries may actually hinder a lot of these trade barriers and the connectivity. Last point that I would like to also add is the lack of a standardization. When it comes to the global certification, Aziza, I think you might be very familiar. There is no even any global standard that any manufacturers would be safe that if I have this one global standard, I can actually bring the product to anywhere within the global halal economy. That has yet to be the reality. So at the current moment, these are the three main key challenges that are faced by many of the exporting manufacturers to tap into the rising global halal economy. Now, uh, what can be something that can be done to
Mm.
overcome this part of the challenges? I think I always believe in this, Aziza. If we cannot actually pass through, the gateway, is always try to circumvent, certain part of the policies, and the only best way is to be able to be on top of things in terms of imparting great knowledge regarding about this global halal industry. This is number one. And number two, I think building talented capability of talents within the organization, specializing in this halal. Say, for instance, you can have a team who actually is versed in terms of 10 certification bodies on how to apply, how to do trade, only with such kind of improvisation and bringing in the added value of such kind of a critical facilitation for trade into the global halal economy, then that could be a survival for many of these exporting country into tapping the global economy. And likewise for Everdeen Global in Singapore, because I realize these challenges myself, even Singapore, we have been fully recognized, in terms of our certification. But when we really do the business down on the ground, it's a different ball game altogether. So only the business people will be able to relate to this, Victoria and Azeeza. So what we do, we are partnering with organization like National Trade Union Congress, because Everdeen ourselves is also part of the Supply Chain Employees Union of the NTUC. So we've been given the mandate, by the NTUC E2I to currently right now, we are trying to curate a certain a program on halal industrial learnings in order to contribute back to Singapore, as well as within the part of the region, in order to be able to develop a more qualified, management or the supervisory level in handling this kind of a trade facilitation. So, these are my answers to your question, Victoria.
Thank you. I'm so appreciate. This is a really interesting and important to know. Thank you so much.
And so this is like, when we talk about the importance of going out, and then all the challenges we want to acknowledge and recognize, and then we can easily find solutions and progress with it. And that's also the reason why we have included the conversations around where we talk about your role in Singapore, Saudi Arabia. So before we go to the final session, in a short, like 2-3 minutes, if you can share with us, what is the current status of globalization into Saudi Arabia, and how do you see the progress with it for Asians?
Well, thank you very much. I was in Saudi, in Mecca, visited a few part of the cities within Mecca. So it's a huge development, and obviously this is today is a global talk, on the opportunity what Saudi Arabia is offering for the Vision 2030, right? Victoria, I must say that you are in Dubai. You Dubai is so well progressed, but I believe that Dubai as well as Saudi Arabia and the few of the Emirates continent over there certainly will be a very developed nation, as Saudi is also progressing towards their vision of 2030. So I love Azeeza to actually talk more regarding about this, but it's a 2 to 3 minute. Maybe I just dive into this to give a kind of a curtain raise and attract. I will
And
speak
then we'll
regarding
have a
about,
very
yeah,
detailed conversation on this.
yeah. I will speak about a Mecca strategy coming from me. With what I'm currently doing, we are also working with Saudi Aramco. We are also doing with a few conglomerates, and because that I serve in the Singapore Business Federation as the council member for Singapore Saudi Arabia Business Council. Yesterday, or even the last 2 days, we just had our informal session, and I'm fully excited regarding about what the opportunities of the both countries and the entrepreneurs, especially coming from the Federation of the Saudi Arabia Business Chamber. But one key thing that I would just like to share to the viewers, come to Raffles Town Club on 23rd of February. I'll explain regarding about what this Makkah strategy, where 200 million pilgrims, visit Mecca annually. So there's this Mecca strategy. If you are interested to actually be with us in terms of building this ecosystem through Singapore or even ASEAN, venturing into the Saudi Arabia, this is something that I love to dive on 23rd of February at Raffles Town Club. But in kind of a general, I think these are few key things that I see within the halal sectors, strengthening the trade ties with Saudi Arabia. First, the opportunity of building education. I think this is one key thing, for whoever within the part of the education sector. Second, the green economy, Azeeza. We talk about the sustainability development and all the sustainable development goal. So I think the green economy would be very, very interesting for Saudi Arabia. Third, of course, the technology. I'm also going in for the robotic AI and few other parts of technology that we work very closely with our counterpart countries like China and few others, and certainly manufacturing. But of course, coming from the halal sector, I'm more prone in terms of the food manufacturing sectors. I think it's vast opportunity, and that align with what I'm going to share during the Raffles Town on the Mecca strategy. Last but not least, because I'm a consolidator of a halal ingredient within the region. I work with Vietnam, Indonesia, Malaysia. We work also with Philippines. We work also with autonomous region of China. We are, even in Pakistan. We are also in the India. What key thing that Saudi needs is the halal ingredient supply. So if you remember regarding about the three keywords, halal food security, halal tourism, and the halal lifestyle, this is widely needed in Saudi Arabia as well as the other part of the neighboring countries.
Mm. Awesome,
Thank you,
awesome,
Dr. Zuraimi.
and
Here
I
with you
love
is
it
a
that
big pleasure, This is a really amazing.
Yeah.
and so there's so much of opportunities we'll be sharing in this event, and he already done the invite and the mystery that we are going to be solving in the IIF. So, and more the reason that people will be joining hands because we are covering so many different practical strategies and opportunities that's available, and that's the power of or rather the intention of this IIF. It's not about one specific group or countries. It is a global journey where we say, and that's what Shine Go Global stands for, global peace through global business. And we can only create peace through business when we decide to come together, learn about each other, and align, like what our Cindy was talking about, have a strategic alignment. And I'm so glad that we are bringing all these experts, and you, Dr. Zuraimi, have made time to be with us. So we really appreciate that. And so that's thank you so much for your wonderful conversation in the last 30 minutes. And we invite everyone to register now. That's Victoria's statement.
As usual, yes. Thank you, Zuraimi. This is really not about only theory. Yes, this is about real experience. This is unique because this is not can buy for money. This
Yes.
is really unique. And if you join us in our event, you can meet with Dr. Zuraimi and ask questions and can maybe take a little bit part of his very unique experience.
And also be a part and a possibility to be part of the Makkah strategy if you are interested in this whole market expansion. So we're talking about really action moving forward.
Yeah,
So that's exciting.
Aziza, on that note, I welcome investors' participation. I welcome industry, to really collaborate. So what Everdeen Global, can offer. We have two intellectual property in terms of food technology. One is actually is on the poultry chicken that I'm the president of the Cheon-In Technology Poultry Breed. The other one is actually is talking about our cattle strategy. So we welcome any form of a partnership. You are always welcome, and I would not be here today without my two very able co-partner, Mr. Khairul Yunus as well as Mr. Hafiz Akiruddin. The three brothers from the Everdeen Global Private Limited. Two of my partners are the former senior management from the Singapore Armed Forces. And the more the reason why I bring them in terms of their technology expert in blockchain as well as the coder himself, Mr. Hafiz, and I think this is a very very important part of the strategy. And again, Aziza, this is a fardu kifayah. This is the concept of rahmatan lil alamin, and halal is not only just about halal, but it's actually halal thayyiban mubarakan. From me to all of you, thank you very much and good night.
Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. We really appreciate your time. And thank you everyone for tuning in. We're going to catch up again with another amazing team people before we go into the finale on live in Singapore at Raffles Town Club on February the 23rd. We have put in the link into the chat group for you to register and be part of this journey that we are all committed to for transformation of investments that really transforms the world, impact, wealth, and legacy. Catch up soon. Thank you so much. Thank you, Victoria.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye
Thank you,
bye.
everybody.
Victoria. Thank you. Bye bye. Bye bye,
Thank
Aziza.
you.
Bye. Thank you.